Okay. Let's get this started. It's been so long since I've played Gen 4, I have no idea what this theme is, but holy shit, I am loving it. Quite relaxing. Hello, everybody. Just gonna take a little bit to make sure everything is working properly. Let me turn down the music just a hair. That might get a little too loud if any louder themes pop up. Hello, Ferality! Hope you are doing well. Let me get my stream set up onto another monitor, just so I can see. Yeah, there we go. Hey, Dingerfish, 8-Bit Wiseman, Gubsy, glad to see you all here. Finally, the shitty remakes. God, they really... I mean, Pokemon dropping the ball isn't exactly that surprising of a headline anymore, but it's very impressive just how bad... What was it? Shining Diamonds? Glimmering? I don't even know. Just not... It's not important enough to even remember what their names were. Hey, Dogstar, doing your first... Wait until I get to Gen 8 so I can gush about the Halfling. You'll be waiting for a bit, but I look forward to seeing that... Looking to seeing that spiel once we get there. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. That's right. Dingerfish says, Peasant's perspective has ruined me. Her concept is reaching tens of thousands of... Oh, no. Alright, we'll check it out when it gets there. I feel like I've been incentivizing longer ideas too much in the Peasant Spirit. Like, it's fun to see how far people can push ideas, but at the same time, like, those get tiring, man. Alright, looks like the chats work. I wish I could make the chat box work a little faster. It seems to take like a solid minute for anything to show up on the screen. I just don't know why that is. Maybe try to look into that after the stream is over. But that's after the stream. For right now, we gotta cover Generation 4. For anybody just joining us now, first off, why? But second off, this is basically, I'm trying to figure out how exactly I feel about the designs in the Pokemon series. Because I've always known that I've not been as fond of how that design philosophy has shifted over the years. With each passing gen, I like the series designs a little less, but I have a hard time putting into words as to why. So I'm doing this. This is very much just a, okay, visual lore / creature design kind of deal. I don't really care about stats or tier lists. Mostly don't care about gameplay, but I do make a few exceptions in how the creature's gameplay directly ties to the design. For example, Snorlax being a gentle giant that if you make it mad, it can crush you, or just the entire counter Wobbuffet punching bag kind of deal. Stuff like that. Yeah, I don't really think I have anything else to say in this. Tier lists are self-explanatory. I'll go back really quick just for, like, visual updates, because I do kind of change these ever so slightly between streams, just kind of linger for a second. Just because once your ideas sit with you for a little bit, you can be like, oh yeah, I don't like that one quite as much, or yeah, maybe I'll move this one 2 spots up. It's an important thing with tier lists. You gotta be able to revisit them and make little tweaks to really get where you're feeling with them. Hello, Magic Ice. Glad you can join us. Anyway, let's start with, of course, the starters of Generation 4. Which, I think I said at the beginning of this series that I think Gen 1 is among the best starter designs. Like, I feel like they perfectly capture what is really good about the Pokemon series of taking a creature, taking an elemental idea, and kind of fusing those two concepts together, and as the creature grows, the element does as well. I think Generation 1 is in the running for the best, and the reason I have to say that is I think Generation 4 might be better. First off, Turtwig. I think Turtwig is super duper solid. Either A or S. I don't think the little sprout on its head is just a little bit simplistic. I don't think it's quite as strong as Bulbasaur's bulb, like blossoming into a flower. But like, it's still really solid. It's still really good. This is one of those middle evolutions I just straight up can't remember the name of. Groddle. Groddle's decent. I think this gets up into the S tier. It really gets a sense of what it's growing into. So might as well just throw Torterra up into the top as well. Because the reason I love Generation 1's starters so much is because they kind of go into the mythological inspirations that I've been gushing about a lot in the previous ones. Because each one of these is tied to some long-standing myth. Torterra's being the... Oh, I can't remember the name of the turtle, but it's a common mythological theme of turtles that are so big they have islands on their backs, or in certain cases, the entire world is on a turtle's back. And that's what Torterra is. And surprise, surprise, it's fantastic. Love Torterra. One of my favorite starter designs. Chimchar. Again, kind of there with Turtwig. Like, it's kind of just copying a very similar design thing that we've seen with Cyndaquil, that we've seen with Charmander, of just, okay, here's a creature, its butt's on fire, it's a fire Pokemon. But, you know, it still works, they're all good. But then it starts evolving and you realize that, oh shit, hold on a second, this is just a Sun Wukong fire monkey, and that's so cool. This is, I think I can definitively say this is my favorite fire starter. Like, it's not a competition. The Infernape line, Monferno to Infernape, it's so cool. It's so cool. Look at this guy. Oh, let me get to the sprites for a second. It's so cool. Just the flaming hair, all the flaming designs, also hearkening to the Sun Wukong just cloud motif. It's such a good design. Best fire starter, don't at me. Piplup, I think, is a little weak. In terms of, like, the starter designs. It's still a B tier. But as good as the rest of them are, it's a water-type Pokemon. It's just a penguin. It's a cute penguin, but it's just a penguin. Piplup has got this fun, like, crest thing going on with it. But again, I feel like it's just a little on the weaker side, but then you get to Empoleon and realize, oh, it took some time getting there, but this is like a Poseidon penguin? It's just, oh, 1, 2, 3, S, S, S. It's so good. Guys, I want to compare real quick. Where was the average for the starters with Gen 1? Because I know I consider the Bulbasaur line just like the perfect line. I know Blastoise is up here, I know Charizard's up here. But I think in terms of averages, because they've got a lot of Gen 1s down here. Yeah, I think in terms of average, Gen 4 just beats it. I think this is my favorite starter trio out of the entire series. They take all of the cool bits and pieces of combining just creature and elements, but then they throw in a mythological twist as well, and it lands so hard every time. Love these starters. They're phenomenal. Then you get to the birds, and like, it's a bird. It's just a bird. Like, what more do you want from me? It's a fine bird, but it's just a bird. I think it's a worse bird than, like, the basic bird of, like, Pidgey or Pharaoh, even. Not Pharaoh, Spearow. It gets a little bit of personality with Staravia. But again, it's just got a cowlick. And that's about it. I think the other bird is a little stronger, honestly. But then Staraptor, it takes a little bit of time. But you get some personality with Staraptor. Like, you get the fun little crest with the knife thing at the end. It looks ridiculous, but it's kind of fun. It's an emo bird, actually. Like, I can enjoy Staraptor a little bit. Again, just a bird. It's hard for a bird to get up into shiny tier at all. I think it's a little bit better than Piplup. Like, it's a high B. But it's just burb. Just burb. It's shocking how long it takes the Pokemon series to figure out that, oh wait, we can take the starter birds and add elements onto them. What? Psh, crazy. Bidoof. The fact that it's so clearly a beaver, but it's called the Plump Mouse Pokemon is so funny. And, like, we all know the memes of Bidoof, like, going up against 6 legendaries, it's an even fight. The true god of the Pokemon realm. And you know what? Where did I put Zigzagoon? In a shiny? I think this is another... Like, it's odd, but, like, it's that perfect sweet spot of, like, a clear inspiration from a Pokemon. From a real-world animal, but still having a little bit of fun with it as a Pokemon. It's cute, it works, I like it. Just this weird beaver-rodent combination. It's cute, I like it. Bibarel loses all of the charm. This thing's just kind of dopey. Like, it's a fun kind of dopey. But it's just... I do like it more than the basic burbs. I'll give it low B tier. Like, I'd honestly rather just keep the Bidoof and evolve to Bibarel. But Bibarel's got something. It's got that kind of Psyduck-esque personality to it. Kricketot. How do I feel about you? I need Pokedex entries for this one, because just baseline impression of it's a little too heavy-handed on its design. Like, it's very clearly supposed to be like this conductor kind of, which, you know, conductor cricket, it's fun. But its design gets a little too into having, like, the exact clothing of a conductor that it kind of loses me just a little bit. Yeah, there's not really any... It's just, oh yeah, its antenna plays music, which, you know, is fun. It's very fun. And it is a very dapper gentleman. You gotta admit that. It has more going for it than Piplup, at least. I can say that. Like, it's still fun. It loses me a little bit, that prevents it from the higher tiers, but it's still a fun design. But then Cricketune. It's so goofy. But it gets this, like, this weird, like, violin cello pattern, and then with the antennas, it can almost play its own body, and the ridiculous mustache? Mustache? Goodness, that wasn't English. Any other... Yeah, it kind of just plays music off. It literally does. It kind of has that same... I don't want to call it an issue, but that same disconnect with Kricketot, but much less so, because it actually kind of ties the aesthetic into its design a little bit more. Like, the antennas are, like, violin baton. What do you call... A violin and a... I can't remember what the thing you used to play a violin is called. Regardless, it actually ties that into its antenna, which is much stronger. I enjoy that a lot more. I'd put it above Prinplup, I think. Like, its design's a lot more fun. But I don't think it quite gets up to... Actually, hold on. Probably you get down there. You just got a crest. That's a little odd. Yeah, I feel better about that. But, like, it's a fun design. I love the mustache. It's goofy. It just goes, like... If it was, like, just 90% less of what it is now. Like, if it didn't quite go as hard on the idea, I'd probably put it in S tier. But even so, it's still a lot of fun. Shinx. The Shinx line, and really, like, a lot of electric Pokemon in the entire series. It's called a bow. Thank you. Why was that so hard to remember? God. A violin and a bow. Thank you. Yeah, what was I saying? But yeah, the Shinx line and a lot of electric Pokemon in general have a hard time, like, not tastefully, but, like, gracefully communicating that it's an electric Pokemon in the design. You'll just get, like, okay, it's got a lightning bolt design, or it'll have, like, okay, it'll be a little more spiky than normal. And Shinx kind of falls into that, too. Like, it's got the star on its tail, which I appreciate. But if this wasn't yellow, you'd have a very hard time telling it was supposed to be an electric Pokemon. Does it have anything specific with the tail? Fur glows when in trouble. Nah, it's just kind of like... Yeah, okay, it's got spiky hair, it's that electricity, ooh, which you've already seen, like, 5 or 6 times before this point. That said, it is still cute. And it has a little bit more than going for it than just water penguins. I'll give it a B tier. It's still cute, it's still fun. When I get it, I still want to take care of it. Luxio? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. Never heard it pronounced in an anime episode. I stopped watching long before Gen 4 came around. But I think this is a pretty solid middle generation, honestly. It's probably one of the better ones. Like, it's still clearly a stepping stone, but it lets it have, like, enough of its own personality and actually tries to be a little cool. For once, instead of just being, like, this awkward middle teenage phase. I think it's better than the basic penguin. Well, not basic penguin. It's got the crest. It's got something going for it, but, like, it's got some personality to it. I appreciate... Actually, no. There we go. No. There we go. I just looked at it and it looked like Bidoof with its stupid grin. I was like, nope, that can't beat the stupid grin. Pronounced Lux? Okay. Luxio. What are my thoughts on Rayman? I'll talk about it more in the design dorks, but the goddamn Captain Laserhawk show, what a fever dream. What a fun fever dream. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but I had a lot of fun with it. And then Luxray doesn't have a lot with it. Like, if you made this just red instead of black, you could easily pass it off as a fire Pokemon. But it's so cool, either way. Doesn't quite beat goofy Violin Cricket, but, like, it's cool. It's cool. It's a fun design. You see it evolve into its 3rd stage, and you're satisfied with that. Like, oh yeah, this is gonna stay on my team. That's so cool. Budu... has always just looked a little weird to me. Just the way that it's kind of got this, like, twisted, like, head... I know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like an actual seed bud, but the way that's just... It looks off to me for some reason. And going from this to Roselia has always felt just a little... Well... Okay, no, I guess the buds kind of twist off and then go into the pom-poms it's got going for it. Okay, that's something. I'll give it that. For a seed kind of Pokemon, that's fun. Honestly, it's so simplistic to the point that it just doesn't... It's kind of hard for it to do enough to get into the higher tiers at all, just because it's just 2 spheres. Just a little incomplete snowman. But it's fine, it's fine. Roserade. Where did I put Roselia? Which generation is Roselia in, for that matter? Okay, it was an A tier. Yeah, it kind of feel the same way about Roserade. It has a very, very fun, like, fae aesthetic. Combined with the flowers and, like, the various bouquets. I think the fact that they're, like, so clearly... How do I put this? They're a little too intentional, like, human setup bouquets. I like the roses of Roselia a lot more. It feels a lot more natural. Almost a Beedrill issue I have, where if it was just a little closer to what that would actually look like, I'd love the design a lot more. But it just feels ever so slightly off because of that. Anyone know what Roserade's hair? I think it's supposed to be a white flower. That looks good. Yeah, I think this is also A tier for me. Well, yeah, like there-ish. It's good. It's a good design. But I think I prefer Roselia just a little bit more. Just a bit. Just a little bit. In fact, hold on. I'm gonna move the boundaries. That feels better to me. That feels better to me. But he's a suave gentleman thief wearing a mask. That's the thing with me, though. It goes just a little too hard onto that theme for me. It's a little heavy-handed, and it kind of loses me just a bit. I don't like it when my Pokemon's personality has been decided for me. I like that to be something that I can imprint upon, if that makes any sense. Meowscarda is a Roserade's persona. But yeah, it's kind of that same vibe, right? That's so good. Oh, the fossils. A lot of my same issues with all the previous fossils apply here. Like with a Pachycephalosaurus, you can have so much fun with different designs. You could have made this entire dome on its head into ice, or like magma and have it explode like a Brachydios or something. But no, it's just it's just dinosaur, and I love dinosaurs, but you could do so much more. And the proportions just look at this. Look at this dopey-ass looking just series of geometric shapes stapled together. Let me see. I'm gonna check some sprites real quick, just to see if it makes me feel any better. And I've never felt Granados. Nah, this is down here. I like the birds more than Granados. The spikes are also just kind of a little haphazard. You know what? No, you frustrate me. I wish you were better. Rampardos? I always try to put in an extra A between the R and the D there. That's not how it's pronounced. Whoa! Nope, go back, please. The little, like, extra crest there has always looked a tiny bit odd to me. Give me some sprites. Like, its head isn't quite attached to its body, but I honestly, it's weird, but I kind of like it. It almost gives it, like, this, almost a turtle shell vibe. like, significantly more of, like, an armored tank kind of deal, which, like, it does a little bit more for me. Like, again, still the same problems with, like, other fossils, and it is just so... this looks like a Generation 6 Onward Pokemon, and it looks like it was made with 3D models in mind and trying to make it as simplistic as possible. I just don't like that very much. But it is better than Granados. I feel some positivity towards this. I'll give you a low B tier. Also, probably... Oh, yes! Thank you, 8-Bit Wife. That puts it to words. Because, like, yeah, it does give this vibe of just, like, an Age of Empires 2 capped RAM moving forward, which is a fun aesthetic to it. You know, 8-Bit, with that kind of context, I'll give it a little bit more credit. That's fun. Shieldon. I will say I like it a little more. Like, it is, like, again, same issues. It's just rock. It's gotta be a rock cause fossil, because we're creatively bankrupting ourselves in this way intentionally, which is so frustrating. But, like, it's a cute little buddy. I like Shieldon. At the very least, doesn't look as weird as the other ones. I'll put you next to Piplup, above Piplup. Like, it's just dinosaur, but it's a cute dinosaur. And then Bastiodon actually gets a little weird with just the whole setup of its body. It actually kind of Pokemonifies the dinosaur design with the, like, huge tusks and the square head and just the entire just armored tank vibe of this. Yeah, I think Bastiodon's definitely my favorite of the Gen 4 fossils, by a good margin. Like, I wish the fossil Pokemon did more, but for what the fossil Pokemon are in these series, this is easily one of the best ones, right? Might even be one of my favorites, actually. I think I like you a little more than Rosa. I like you more than these two, as well, actually. No, I like you more than Luxray. This is a high A-tier That was just a mental journey of, like, you know what? No, I really like this. This thing's actually pretty awesome. Let's go. Am I really gonna S tier? You know what? I might actually. Like, if I had to keep one fossil Pokemon the way they are, be like, okay, this is the rock one, I might choose Bastiodon. I think this design's really fun. I just learned that about myself. That's cool. Also, yeah, it's like a castle which you destroy with a battering ram. It's so neat. Yeah, good job, Bastiodon. I didn't realize I liked you as much as I did. God, you're so ugly. Like, what was the other... Well, we've covered this before with, like, the back rooms. I think it's Pineco that is the other one. And I think from what we looked at with Pineco, this technically gets the vibe of a bag room better. The problem is, it's just so ugly. Like, I just don't like looking at this thing. I'm sorry. To avoid offending any Burmy fans in the audience, all three of them that exist in history. But I just think it looks so bad. Ugh. No thank you. And then Wormadam, it's just... What are you supposed to be? I know what you're supposed to be, but God, looking at you. The changing typing is neat, I guess, although I don't know why the pink is steel. But just... Nah, I don't like either of you. Nah, screw these. I just don't like them. I'm sorry. Just one of those Pokemon designs that just... You're just hideous. I see what you're going for, but you're so ugly. Thankfully, you can evolve it into a Mothim to get at least something that doesn't hurt your eyes to look at, but even then, like, it's... We've had so many moths at this point, and this doesn't really do anything to set itself apart. It just feels like wasted space. I don't like any of this line. Combi is a flying honeycomb. Which is... I've always loved this little setup of just... It looks like it's 3 separate Pokemon just kind of stuffed into honeycombs. Only one wing can get out for either of the top ones, and then the other one's only its butt can fit out. Which is... It almost falls into that... Well, like that Doug Trio kind of element of like, okay, this is technically like 3 separate Pokemon, but with how like swarmy bees are, it doesn't really bother me. And it's so adorable. Like, it's a lot... I put it next to... Slightly above Kricketot. Like, it... Just a tad too heavy. Well, no. It's fun. It's funny. It's low A, but it's funny. I get a healthy dose of serotonin seeing it. It's just a goofy little design. Carnadrome, how would you handle a fossil Pokemon? I would go for an actual fossil Pokemon. I feel like you gotta approach that kind of design philosophy by asking, okay, what do prehistoric Pokemon look like? This is a series based off of evolution. You can't take the dinosaur philosophy with it because, like, there's already dinosaur Pokemon still alive. Like, you're looking at a world turtle right now. So you gotta kind of ask the question, like, okay, like, what do these Pokemon evolve from? And with that in mind, I try to take more, like, primordial baseline elemental stuff as like a fossil Pokemon, like Magcargo. Like, to kind of take that design philosophy. Like, this is just raw elemental power that's starting to slowly take form into creatures. That's how I take it. Where was I? Vespiquen. It's a literal queen bee Pokemon. And you know what? It's pretty cool. I'll put it up there with our good old mustached violin cricket. Something about it doesn't quite hit S tier for me. I think it's just a little too literal of a dress. That's probably it. But even so, it's still a cool design. Pachirisu. What a nothing Pokemon. Like, it's cute, but it's one of just the laziest Pikachu clones. Like, it's so just it's so nothing. God. I'd put you in Wonder Trade, but you are still cute. It's one of the most... What's the word I'm looking for? Required Pokemon that I've ever seen. This is the Fire Emblem Lord. Just Smash Brothers Fire Emblem Chrom character of the Pokemon series. It's just like, why are you here? Weasel. It's a weasel with a floater. It's a little fun. The life preserver on its neck, I wish didn't look so out of place on it, but I like that it's got fins. The 2 tails is really fun. Obligatory, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. It is a very fun color palette. I think just what... I don't get excited about this Pokemon. And I think it's the floater. It's probably just the floaters. Between this and Floatzel, the floaters are just a little... They feel stapled onto the design. It's just not as... Doesn't get me. I think Floatzel is a little worse than Buizel. That's when this becomes egregious. Like, okay, that's just... It just looks odd. But it's still fun. Well, Bibarel's more fun. Yeah, that feels right to me. That feels right to me. How would I handle designing electric Pokemon? That is a good question. I'd have to brush up a little bit more on, like, the science behind electricity, because I'd want... I think there's a couple of ways you can handle it. I think implementing, like, Stormcloud-esque designs into a Pokemon is a really fun way of doing that. Raikou is a good example of that. I'm not against the idea of trying to tie static electricity into it. Like, I think, the Ampharos line is a good way of doing that. Or at least Flaffy. No, Mareep. Mareep is the first one. But you almost have to try to tie a separate thing that generates electricity into it, and too often they just go for the same... Like, okay, static electricity, spiky hair, ooh... A fun way is to... I really enjoy the ideas behind, like, Magnemite and, we'll get to it later, but it's Rotom, where it's kind of like taking the Fey inspiration, but going for more of an electric-styled, like, energy sprites. I think that's a really fun way of doing electric Pokemon as well. This is just a... These are just cherries. It's just a set of cherries. I can't put you in frustration, but I just feel nothing towards you. You are just cherries with eyes. And then Cherim? I get the relationship between like the Overcast and the Sunshine forms. I think the like Blossom version of Cherim is pretty good. Yeah, that's fun. I'll put it next to Combi. It's cute. I like it. And the Overcast being the way it is does make this a little more fun. Now you're not better than Bidoof. But it's just kinda... I think I'm gonna put you down there. You could have done more with this side of it. Shellos. Shellos is so cute. Like, it's just a sea slug. It's one of those water-type Pokemon where, like, okay, yeah, the fish, the aquatic creature is the water type, and we stop there. But like, it's still cute. But you're like, here-ish. Like, B tier is where a lot of those kind of designs go. Like, okay, you're just the basic idea there, but like, it's fine. Gastrodon, though, takes that similar concept, but kind of goes into more of a... almost like an Elasmosaurus design. Kind of makes it feel almost a little prehistoric, which is actually, like, pretty fun. I actually really like Gastrodon. Almost gives this... like, overlying theme of, like, okay... like... hundreds of millions of years ago, here's the sea slug slowly evolving into larger creatures. Like, this is the precursor for reptiles. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this one. Not quite an S tier. You'd have to do more for me. But I think that's a high A tier. Oh, and it's got one of the best cries. Yeah, that's a good point, BCF. Ambipom, it's weird, I'll give you that. I know it's based off of that one myth of monkeys with like an extra hand on their tails. And it's like, oh, how do we improve on that? Give it more tails. But it just looks weird. Where did I put Apom? Which direction is Apom in? Gen 2, yeah. I think so little about this Pokemon. I think I'd probably still put it in frustration. It's just... No. No, you're revisiting the design. I'd want more than just... whatever the hell you're doing with this. You know what? No, I don't like you. Go away. And what a surprise! Pokemon's ghost Pokemon are all excellent. Alright, these are, you always gotta check the Pokedex entries for the ghost Pokemons. It tugs on the hands of children to steal them away. However, it gets pulled around instead. It's whispered that any child who mistakes Drifloon for a balloon and holds onto it could wind up missing. Like, it's just... it's so dark, and I love it so much. And the fact that it looks so innocent at the same time... like, it's such a fun design. I love both of these. I think these are both S tier. I love the Drifloon line. And then you get into the blimp version, and it kind of starts getting like... just the blank red eyes give it a little bit of an unnerving feel to it, which is really fun. Carries people and Pokemon when it flies, but since it only drips, it can end up anywhere. Not as fun. Yeah, they kind of just lose the creepier elements of it. Oh no, you still got a few of them. There's a rumor if you catch a Drifloon floating on the wind at dusk, you'll be carried away to the afterlife. Like, it's still fun. It's still fun. But yeah, I love both of these. Great ghost flying. Also gets into that Altaria thing I've been talking about a couple of times. Like, just adding some cloud motifs to a flying type Pokemon. It's a nice little flair. I like it a lot. I wish more of them did it. Oh god. Oh, what a cute little fluffy bunny. Like, it's kinda nothing. It's just kind of an HM slave. But oh my god, I wonder what this will turn into. Duh. There are a few Pokemon that make me outright uncomfortable looking at. Lopunny's one of them. I wish this Pokemon didn't exist. Like, it's just... ugh. No thank you. No thank you. We're moving on. Miss Magius, though! Oh, yeah! What a great revisiting of an already really fun... older Pokemon design. I wish there were more of these. It's like, just look at this thing! This is another one of those, like... one of those Pokemon where you can see how humans would see that and shift their ideas of myths. Like, you can see which is being inspired by this Pokemon. Which I think really works with the ghost types especially. But yeah, I love Miss Magius. Miss Magius is so cool. You're going right up there. Honchkrow is also pretty fun. A little too... just a tad on the nose with the perfect hat that's got on, but on the same time, it's such a good hat. And it doesn't feel as heavy-handed as like some of the other designs have been. I think it's right up there with Cricketune. Like, I want just a little just a tad, like, again, like, it's same Cricketune level. Like, okay, if you were 90% less of what you were, I'd absolutely adore you. But even then, it's still such a fun design. Glameow is... What are you? Go away. I don't like you. It's just a spring on its tail. Nah, you know, I didn't want to trade you. You're kind of useless. I do... Well, okay, hold on. I do appreciate the overall... I'll give you points for the beauty to ugliness evolution. Like, oh, you might be pretty on the outside when you're younger, but if you're not pretty on the inside, you just become this ugly, grumpy individual. And I do like and enjoy that. Professor Umbridge of Pokemon. Yeah, but at the same time, they are just kinda ugly. But it's fun for completely different reasons. How do I rank you? Like, I hate looking at you, but that's the point, and I appreciate you for that point? You know what? No, that you both get to go up. Like, it's almost like a completely separate rating systems, but for what the design is trying to do, I appreciate them for it. There. Yeah, that feels good. And then... Yeah, about right there. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is ugly, but a fun ugly. Chingling, it's nothing. Why revisit the Chimecha line only to do Chingling? I don't... You're taking an already pretty bad Pokemon and just making it even... giving it a worse version. I don't understand why you exist. Bregly above? Yeah, I'll put Bregly above Bidoof. Bidoof is just funny. Bregly's got something actually behind the design. But yeah, Chingling... Yeah, honestly, that's a wonder trade for me. It's such a nothing design. And, like, you can have really fun, like, inanimate object Pokemon. Like, Magnemite's a great example of that, but this is just a bell. It's just a bell with little nubs of limbs. No, thank you. I'd want more. Stunky is just a skunk. It's just a skunk. Yeah, you're just a skunk. You're a purple skunk, though. But you're just a skunk. I do appreciate Skuntank having a bit more personality. Like, it's not much. But I do like how its tail kind of crests all the way over its head. It's a fun little visual flourish. I'll give it a little more points for that. Something like that. Do I like you more or less than Staraptor? I think I appreciate Skuntank a little bit more. It kind of has that same emo vibe, but it commits a little harder to it and realizes that it's kind of grungy and you know what? I like Skuntank. You can go up there. Yeah. And, you know, skunk poison. Like, it's a bit on the nose, but it works. Bronze... I don't even know what you're supposed to be. What? Give me an origin. Based on a diet of bronze mirrors, carved seal like green spikes evolved from bronze line can rain for better harvest. Forge bells, so they ice the down front. Oh! Ooh, I never knew this. Oh, I love Pokemon that are based off like little mythological stories like this, and they evolve through the course of the story. Oh, I was about to put you pretty low, Bronzong, because you're kind of just nothing. But sorry, Bronzor. But that's fun. I appreciate that. You're still kind of nothing. But you can go like here. Bronzong, though, just on top of like all that mythological stuff, just the idea of this sentient psychic bell omnipresent, it gets into that kind of alien unknowable energy that a lot of the really good other psychic Pokemon have, like the Ralts, the Abras. And again, that mythological story is really fun. I like you. I think I'm gonna put you, well, maybe just high A. Nah. No, I think you're too fun for that. Bronzong's great. I love Bronzong. Bonsly. Bonsly kind of falls into that same Chimecho area of like, if you're gonna revisit this Pokemon idea, why do this? I do appreciate that it evolves based off of the knowing Mimic, but that kind of feels like the only thing it's got going for it. And that was kind of the only thing that Sudowoodo had going for it as well. I don't know, because at the same time, I do appreciate the whole vibe. No, Sudowoodo's not there. Wait. Where's Sudowoodo? I guess where was Gen 2? Oh no, he's up there. Like, I do have a lot of fun with it, but it's... I feel like the punchline just isn't as strong the second time around, you know? It doesn't bring anything new to the table. That said, it is a rock trying really hard to be a plant. Tying it to a bonsai as well is actually kind of fun, though, because it's specifically trying to change how itself is growing to take the exact shape it wants. That's kind of fun. Give me some Pokedex entries. Water sometimes just as powerful. Let's... Oh! Oh my! Wait! Okay, so this is just like a really depressing Pokemon. So hold on. Let me check Sudowoodo's Pokedex entries. Is it just like super depressed about how it looks and just tries so hard to look like a tree because... Oops. 1 second. I accidentally closed my Burbapedia tab. Oh no! There we go. Okay. But yeah, like, it's so sad that it doesn't want to be a rock, it wants to be... That's kind of cute, honestly. I kind of really appreciate that. I think maybe, like... Yeah, like, there's an idea there that I kind of appreciate. We'll go right up there with Perugly. Nope. Not with Mr. Mime, though. Mime Jr., just get out of here. Like, I already can't quite figure out how to even judge Mr. Mime. It's just such a weird middle ground of, like, being a fun design, but you're just weird. Mime Jr. just takes all the fun out of it. And it's... No. No thank you. No thank you. Next. Moving on. Happening as well. I really don't like this line of baby Pokemon they tried to add in. Like, okay, I'll give you the fun ideas with Bonsly, but... And Bidoof. But Bidoof had some ideas with it as well. But, like, it's just smaller version of the bigger thing. Doesn't bring anything to the table. Don't like it. You're not quite got away safely. You're not that. No, actually, yes, you are. I don't like either of you. Chatot. A bit on the nose. But I like it. You're going up here with the other... Like Vespiquen, Kricketune. It's very literally a songbird. Like, you could not be more on the nose with what it's trying to do, but, like, it's a songbird. Like, so it fits. I don't know. I really like the color scheme. I like its personality a lot. Chatot is a vibe. Exactly. Oh, Spiritomb. You're a cool one. A bit weird, but cool. Pokemon that was formed by 108 spirits. It is bound to a fissure in an odd keystone. It's just this super hyper specific oddities. Like, so many different ghosts fused to this single keystone. Like, it's odd, but I like it. There's nothing quite like it anywhere else in the Pokemon series. I like the balloons a little bit better. Actually, well, you're also kind of simplistic. Yeah, Lore's carrying you up to here. This feels about right. Yeah, it's fun. Love it. Gibble. Simplistic, but fun. What would you call it? The weird engines on its head has always looked just a tiny bit odd to me. Spiritomb based on... Wait, hold on. Oh! Oh, yeah, that's really heavily based on a myth. I assumed so, but that goes really hard on that. Love it. Cool. Just a point of curiosity. 1 second. Pokemon. Ow. Pokemon 108 is Lickitung. I was gonna say I'm gonna bump it up several places if it's got like some sort of cool relationship with Pokemon 108, but I'd rather not consider Lickitung at all. Still cool, regardless. Again, like it's baby land shark. You did the baby land shark. It works. I think maybe like right here. It's 108 in the region. Oh, okay, good. Okay. As long as it's 108 in something. It's got that relationship with the Dex. Then that is cool. And it's 180 feet tall. That's great. Sorry, because I just completely lost my train of thought. Oh! Oh my... How have I not... It's a hammerhead shark. Duh! I've always thought these were, like, weird, like... Kind of the Gen 8 Dragon Ghost Pokemon with, like, engines sticking out of it. But no, it's a hammerhead shark. Duh! You know what? No, I'll give you... That's cool. That's cool. I think this entire line is really, really solid. Like, it is one of those Dragon-type Pokemon lines that you're just kind of trying to get to the biggest version of it, but, like, once you get to that biggest version of it... Oh my gosh! I never realized that, but you're absolutely right. The naming scheme is Nibble Bite Chomp. That's so cute. But yeah, they're all really good. Like, this is the way you do a land shark. Take notes, Monster Hunter. I feel like your designs are superior to Pokemon most of the time, but whatever the hell you were doing with the Cephadrome, like, this is the way you do it. These things are so cool. You know what, Gabite, you can get up there in S tier as well. You're also really cool. And in fact, you can go up too. Like, it's a really solid dragon tier. I do like Turtwig a little bit more, though. And you. Yeah, that feels good. That feels good. Yeah, easily one of the best dragons. Like, no question. To be fair, like, you could probably say that about most of the dragons, that they're easily some of the best dragons. Munchlax. I actually like Munchlax. It kind of... And this might just because it kind of ties into, like, the whole similar Totoro kind of designs. It looks a lot like the smaller sprites in the Totoro movie, which is probably based off of a myth. No? No? Well, it should be, because Totoro is perfect. But it's just cute. I like it. I don't know if it quite hits the perfect S tier of Snorlax for me. But he is this little adorable... It's another one of those kind of fae-like creatures. Like, it's just this... like, this personification of what people view a raccoon to be, but as a, like, spirit. Munchlax is probably the best of the legacy. I think I could agree with that. Yeah. Not much competition, to be fair. I don't think there's many good legacy babies. But yeah, Munchlax is fun. I like Munchlax. I feel like what they're trying to do with it, he's the best he can be. I'd agree with that. Yeah. Riolu and Lucario. This is a weird one for me. If you had asked me, like, 12 years ago, would have been among my favorite Pokemons. But the older I've gotten, every time I revisit what I like about them, they land a little less for me. Because they got the whole tie-in with aura, right? Like, being able to feel various bits of other people's, like, how they're doing. But then they have all of the Anubis stuff as well. Which is such a bizarre, like... okay, the god of the dead, but also it's an empath? Like, it's a design that feels like it's trying to take a lot of different inspirations to it, but not really committing to any of them. Which is kind of... it's almost a Gardevoir kind of design for me in that way. Where I like the designs, but they feel so discombobulated, you know? Because here's what gets me. Like, if you were going to design an Anubis-styled Pokemon, right? I feel you could do that in so many cooler ways. Like, hold on. There's a character in World of Warcraft named Bwonsamdi. Like, if you did something like this with Lucario, if you're trying to go for, like, an Anubis-style design, kind of, instead of the weird, like, steel points coming out of various parts of its body, if you made it, like, bone, which would go really well with, like, the bone spears as well. Like, I feel like... I just feel like it could be so much cooler, you know? Ericale Anubis is more of an empathetic god of the dead compared to some of the other mythologies, like judging... maybe. I've kind of had my my knowledge in Egyptian mythology gets a little skewed because I've read too many like the Rick Riordan books and just various retellings of it that I can't quite remember where where Anubis lies in terms of like the good to bad gods of the underworld. But even then, it's... I feel like Anubis and other inspired characters always end up being scarier as villains. I feel like Lucario and Lucario are going against that stereotype. I don't think I can agree with that. I think you could have had fun with this kind of more regal-looking bone god that's still friendly at the same time. Like, you can do a lot with its facial expressions to make it more friendly while still having that kind of intimidating outer design. Where did I put Blaziken? Low B tier? It is another one of those mons that feels a little weird as mon considering our humanoid. I don't feel that as badly with like the likes of Blaziken because there are a little bit some odd proportions to it. It does also just have kind of a basic furry aesthetic, which I just don't like as an aesthetic. I think it's ugly. This is a hard one for me. Let me just start leaving it places and see how I feel. I think high B tier is where Riolu lands for me. I appreciate the inspirations, but there's just a few too many oddities, and I can think of like 5 different directions I could take this where I would just enjoy this evolution line a lot more. But it has a lot of those similar problems I have with a lot of previous popular Pokemon. It's in that Blaziken kind of tier for me. And Lucario, in specific, like, it gets a lot added to it, but when it gets added to it, just doesn't gel very well. Like, I don't understand. What are these rings on its shoulders? That's always looked so weird to me. I don't know. I think I like Lucario a little less than Riolu. Something like it. I can't put you beneath the Lamiao. Somewhere like right... Yeah, right there. You feel very much like it's one of those cases where I think the design isn't the worst in a vacuum, but it also looks a little too sapient. It's kind of a herald of where the Pokemon designs are going to go later. But I do feel like it's too stuck in that little in-between. My rule of time to judge if Pokemon designs work is if... Could I see this talk? Honestly, I think it works. In kind of that similar psychic Pokemon vibe, it kind of feels in that same realm of otherworldly, but it commits too hard to being just an in-between of all these design ideas it's trying to go for. I'm half tempted to put it down in frustration, but I do appreciate what it's actually trying to do a little bit more. I'm just never going to get an Anubis Pokemon in the style that I want because this one exists, and that frustrates me a little bit. Well, I shouldn't say never. Pokemon's gonna keep printing out Pokemon designs forever. We'll eventually get an Egyptian-themed one, I'm sure. And then maybe I'll get the better Lucario. But not for now. Hippopotas. I actually really appreciate these two. The Hippopotas Hippopowdon line. Kind of takes that reverse... It's kind of a reverse Slowbro kind of deal, where you're taking something that's primarily aquatic and making it, okay, like, what if this just, get this as far away from the water, how would this evolve in that way? And I really appreciate how they covered this. Like, having these, like, really big, like, breathing holes as it burrows through the ground. I think this is a really solid one. Good ground-type Pokemon. And then Hippowdon. Oh, Hippowdon's, like, actually, like ridiculously sick. This thing looks intimidating. Like, I could see this being, like, a Monster Hunter basis of a design. Just a big, angry hippopotamus that burrows through the ground. It reminds me of a Baroth, if anybody's played Monster Hunter. And it gets that kind of same just, oh shit, this thing's gonna, like, blow semen out of its nose and just charge at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, that's true, yeah. It kind of does the same thing that Garchomp does. It's a land shark and a land hippo. And I think they're both really good. You know, for the sheer inspiration behind it, I think I like Hippowdon a little bit more. I think I like you more than Miss Magi's even. I might even like you more than Torterra. Because, like, World Tortoise, that's kind of, like, an obvious design flow to go with, but Sand's burrowing hippo, that's just, well, No, I think Hippowdon's a fun design. Appreciate Hippowdon because it brings awareness to how genuinely horrifying hippos are. Exactly. It's a neat. I love it. Scorpy. Took this long to get a Scorpion design. And it's just kind of weird. It's got this weird, like, almost rock formation on its tail, but it's not a rock Pokemon. It's just a poison bug, which, again, another poison bug? Are you serious? It's this weird mix of, like, okay, you're supposed to be super dangerous, but you're also kind of cute, but you don't really commit particularly hard in any other direction, which is kind of, this is a mid design for me. Which sucks, because I love Scorpions. Scorpions are so cool. I'd want better. I'd want more. I might even, are you frustrating to me? You might be a little, no. Like, you're still, there's still something there. But I'd want more. And then Drapion is more. It's weird. Like, what a bizarre design, but I kind of dig it. Just this weird, like, super heavily armed, just... Like, it's called the Ogre Scorpion, which, like, what a weird combination, but I dig it. Was I really expecting the Scorpion to not be a bug poison? I was expecting, after, like, 7 bug poisons beforehand, to go with a design that's actually had some fun with the elemental attributes of Pokemon. Like, yeah, Scorpion should be a bug poison, but to do another bug poison after how many bug poisons we've already had, that just feels redundant. And like, you could do some fun elemental tie-ins. Like, make it poison electric or something. Venom often feels like you're being stung. I don't know. Regardless, it's weird, but I kinda dig it. No, actually, I really dig it. I think this thing's awesome. Such a bizarre left field take. But it looks genuinely intimidating. Like, it's a good angry Pokemon. Like, you feel like you need to run from this thing. What do you mean? Oh, it's not. Oh, yeah. I never. I've never actually used one of these things. I kind of just assumed it was poison bug, but no, it's poison dark. There you go. Sacrifices the bug to be something more. I wish more bug types did that. It takes them a while to actually start having fun with it, and by that time, Pokemon's actual designs have started getting to a point that the bugs just aren't as fun. Yeah, I'm double checking, don't you worry. But yeah, good Pokemon. Love Drapion. Croagunk. This is such a little shit. Look at that grin. He knows what he is. The single orange middle finger has always weirded me out just a little bit. But this thing has so much personality. It's so fun. It's just this obnoxious little asshole. And I kind of love it for that. I don't think there's any specific... Yeah, there's not really any specific inspiration behind it for why it is the way it is. It's just a frog, but, like, it's such a fun frog. Now, where that ranks for me... probably above. No, it's too fun. This isn't like that fun. Where's Meowth? Like you have a single idea. Yeah. It doesn't quite hit S tier for me, but it's so fun. I like you a little bit more than Vespa Queen. And Chatot, for that matter. You can be buddy-buddy with Munchlax. I feel like Toxicroak loses a bit of the charm, though. I appreciate that the middle finger actually gets a spike to kind of justify why it's so weird. But something about this, like, mustachoid mouth just looks ever so slightly odd to me. Is there a reason it looks like this? His claws with the knives. No. It kind of gets into that almost, like, Magmar territory for me. Where it just feels like it has a bit too much, and I don't know. Let me see a sprite. Let me see you in motion. Yeah, it's just kind of odd to me. Like, what is this single bubble growth on its back? You got the single weird fin that's the exact same color of its actual body. I can't stand it when Pokemon do that. Just have especially when you're in a texturous single bubble. Like, what is that? Weird growths that are the same color as the rest of the Pokemon. I found that just does nothing for me. That said, you do still keep a lot of the same fun elements of Croagunk. I just think you're as fun. Maybe right next to Rampardos, maybe. Here-ish. Like, there is definitely charm in how stupid it looks. I'll give it that. But it's just a little too much for me. Just a bit. Still good, though. Still fun. Carnivine. Right up here. I love this stupid little... Look at that face. This is such a fun way of doing a Venus Flytrap Pokemon. Just this bizarre... Like, I'd believe if this was a ghost Pokemon. It's just got that kind of unnerving, like, energy to it. But it's just a Venus Flytrap. But it's so... hate that I can't think of a better way of putting this than it's just like a fey creature, but it gets that kind of Feywild energy of just like this weird plant thing. And I really appreciate this thing. It's just charmed how stupid and ugly look. It's just Gen 4 in a nutshell. Yeah! I think there's a lot of fun designs like that in this generation. I'm kind of surprised by how much I'm enjoying it, actually. I don't think about a lot of these Pokemon a lot, but there's some really good ones here. But then you get to something like Finneon and Lumineon, which they're just fish. That's all they are. There's nothing more there. Like, can I put you in frustration? I don't think I care enough to. But at the same time, like, why would I? No, this is exactly what One to Trade tier is meant for. Like, they're just fish. They are just fish. I have no desire to use any of you. Mantike is cute. Yeah, it at least has, like, a bit of that Pokemon energy that, like, these two fish are missing. But it's that Piplup kind of deal. Where, like, you're just wearing... I need to give you more credit. The Sea Slug's color scheme is really fun. Honestly, Piplup is falling too far as well. Like, it's still a very cute Pokemon. Where am I going with this? I'm just kind of randomly moving things around. Hold on. I think I need to rearrange this B tier real quick. I appreciate the myth behind you. You're going up significantly further. You're dropping a little bit. You're cute. You're cute. You're more fun than both of them, though. You're more fun than both of them, though. I like your ideas more, though. There? I think? Maybe? This one I might reorganize a lot. I've been breezing through these pretty quickly. Okay, yeah, I think we're good there. Okay. Ooh, the Snover and the Abomasnow line. This is a fun one. Kind of taking the obvious myth of the Yeti, but also making it like a just walking tree creature kind of deal. It's weird, but I like it. Is there a specific myth behind it, or? No, yeah, it's literally just like, okay, you got snow-covered trees. If you see one of them move in the wrong way, maybe that's the Yeti, but it's actually just a living ice tree. That's cool. I like this Pokemon. And then Abomasnow is just, yeah, I think both of these are S tier. I think the idea behind them is just absolutely fantastic. Something like that? Yeah, it's a great Pokemon. Exactly. Generation 4 might be my favorite in that way. Like, I think Pokemon designs are always at their strongest when they're trying to implement just a bit of real-world mythology into them as well. And Gen 4 does that so much, and they're all so cool. Like, I've got more nostalgia to Gen 1 and Gen 3, but I think Gen 4 has got some of the best ones. Just overall. Oh, this song, too. It's also a banger soundtrack. It's just really good. Weevil. Huh. It's a yokai-based kind of deal. This is an odd one for me. it doesn't quite fall into, like, that anthropomorphic weirdness, because it's clearly got enough, like, it's got the stoutish stature. It feels more like a goblin than anything else, which is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a yokai. I think I like the gem in the center of its head. The crest is really fun. I think the weirdness I'm feeling is just little leftover weirdness from Sneasel. Because I think Sneasel's just kind of ugly and incomplete, but Weevil... Wow, that was a voice track. Goodness gracious. Weevil is what Sneasel needed. Like, I am not fond of Sneasel whatsoever, but Weevil's a fun one. Just this little ice goblin. I'll sneak around through the night. Oh, especially, look at that action shot from Pokken. Look at that. That's so good. Is this good? No, I think this is another S tier. I keep feeling like, do I want to put it lower? Do I want to put it lower? But I think that's just because Sneasel... I never think about Sneasel at the same time. Are you Gen 2 or Gen... I think you're Gen 2. Yeah, because it's just kind of nothing down here. But once you get the idea it was going for, like, oh yeah, that's a cool one. There you go, there you go. How far do I think a Pokemon can go with humanoid features before it becomes like... Well, that depends, is the thing, Dr. Zeus. Because if you have something, like, take Mewtwo as an easy example of that. Mewtwo is specifically supposed to be smarter than humans. I think you can get away with that a lot with a lot of Psychic-type Pokemon, where they are supposed to be in this weird, sentient side circle. Like, they're almost aliens in that way. I think it becomes weird when they are still supposed to be kind of lesser than humans and how intelligent they are. That's when it starts to get that weird kind of feeling. It's more of a case-by-case basis. Like, another example, like the top of our tier list right now. It's very humanoid, but that's because it's a primate. And Empoleon has kind of also, like, got similar proportions, but, like, it's based off of a real-world myth. You gotta take it by case-by-case basis. Magnezone is phenomenal. This is what Magneton always should have been. Can't stand Magneton, but Magnezone, like, what a great way of just capitalizing on how to do, like, a weird, like, object-based Pokemon, but like, clearly turning it into its own thing. Like, this feels like some sort of alien drone that's come to abduct people. So cool. Love this Pokemon. S tier. Love it. So, Rhyperior. Getting into that... Just, the revisiting of a lot of just weird, one-off Gen 1 designs. And Rhyperior, frankly, just feels over-designed to me. Like, what are you supposed to be? Like, there's so many of those weird pieces and points. It's just, ugh. I hate that I can look at this line right here and just Rhyhorn beats them easily. I love Rhyhorn so much more than all of these. It just gets steadily worse as you go along. Let me see this thing in motion. It's got so many different parts to it, and none of them feel like they're meshing together in any way. And especially when you go 3D model, like, look at this, like, awkward, stunted, just like, I can't even move with the way my arms work. No, don't like it. No, thank you. You are, I would be so disappointed if I evolved a ride on it. Just keep the Rhyhorn. Or better yet, just get an Aggron. Same idea, but more fun. I think I like the fish more than you. Next is Tangrowth. Way to take the... It's the same problems I had with Tangela. Where did I put Tangela? They're right in HM Slave. Don't like Tangrowth either. It's taking that swamp monster kind of vibe and just doing the bare minimum with it. I appreciate that you can kind of get a little more of a vibe of just like what, yeah, this like get the more of the nubs underneath it. But I don't like this one. I don't like this one at all. It's so overly simplistic. One of those designs where you're just taking the base formula and just stretching it out a bunch. I appreciate the red arms at the very least. What about Tangrowth is imposing? Oh yeah, just watching this little thing waddling towards you. What are the Pokédex entries? Does this save it at all? Native plants that binds together grow back to... Yeah, I mean, it's Swamp Monster. You did the thing. There's several kinds of Pokemon in this series that are clearly mimics trying to disguise as something else. Like, Mimikyu is a fantastic example of how to do that right. It provides enough of a tease towards what might be hiding underneath its disguise that becomes a really compelling design. I don't get that from either Tangela or Tangrowth. It's just spherical. And the dead eyes just don't... If you're trying to make an argument at like, oh yeah, this thing is going to be intimidating, it needs different eyes. These eyes do not work for trying to be intimidating. Like, look at this thing! Look at this dopey-looking, no-thoughts, head-empty expression. That is not intimidating. That's barely anything. Nah, just not fond. I closed my Bulbapedia again. Gosh dang it. There we go. I will rank it higher than I did Tangela, because at least it's trying to do something. Whereas Tangela is just such a nothing design for me. But even then, I'd want so much more from this. I got nothing from you. Electivire, though. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Just turning the weird kind of just no identity design of Electabuzz and be like, okay, but what if it was an electric Yeti? And it's so cool. I like the tie-in of like these weird like wires coming off of its shoulder. I don't know what they're supposed to do, but it works for me. It works for me. Are they supposed to be tails? I'm gonna see a back view of its sprite. Yeah. Oh, don't like that. The perfect plug symbol on its back is a little much for me. But I like the Tesla coils coming out of its head. And again, like, the electric Yeti style is so cool. The plug might just barely... I don't like when Pokemon does that. It just speaks to me as a lack of confidence in the design. Just being like, oh, no, we don't know if the people will understand what type it is. But let's just put a giant symbol on it, and that'll communicate it. See this little cat? It's got a leaf on it. I make these designs for a living. But still, like, it's a small blemish on an otherwise really solid design. Like, I might put it low S tier. Like, it's cool. It's really cool. Just this big, imposing, lumbering giant you might stumble upon in an abandoned power plant. Yeah, somewhere around there. I like that. I like that. Can't quite say the same thing about Magmortar. Like, it at least makes the design a little more compact. Like, I feel like Magmar is just kind of all over the place. But at least this commits a little bit more to just, okay, this is some, like, living magma creature constantly on fire and it shoots globules of magma at you. Don't feel as strongly towards it as I do Electivire, but this is another improvement in terms of the Gen 1 design they had. Let me see this in... Yeah, especially when you see, like, it's constantly on fire. The 4 spikes don't do much for me. Like, that feels kind of a haphazard. Don't like that. I'd honestly like it more if the spikes weren't there and it was just more fire running down its back. So we do still have a bit of that just messy design from Magmar. Still though, I like the canon aesthetic. I think that's a much stronger design idea. Where did I put Magmar? Right in the middle of B tier? Yeah, because it's just kind of a odd. I think this one does significantly more to give itself a stronger identity. But like right here, like middle of A tier. Togekiss. A very, very needed evolution. Like, having it just stop at Togetic felt so weird. Like, this thing... You look at this and it just feels incomplete. And that's why it's just this weird, nice... Just kind of flying... And you look at it and you can't quite figure out what it's supposed to be, and I really appreciate it for that. Gives it that kind of angelic feeling that it's trying to evoke. Of like just this weird flying entity of happiness that will visit you on various occasions. I like it. I like Togekiss a lot. A lot. It's a bit of a simplistic design. I don't think I can quite give it S tier, but I think it's good. I think it's very good. Has the saddest Dex entry in the Legends. Oh! I like dramatic. Pokedex entries will never appear where there is strife. Its sightings have become rare. Ooh. Where's the Arceus one? Scant few have ever cited this Pokemon. After studying what literature remains, I am certain Togekiss will reveal itself when peace reigns in the land. Yeah, I like that kind of omen-based Pokemon. It kind of adds to, like, this whole entire Pokemon-specific mythology that they have going for it. Because, like, if you were in the Pokemon world, you would have specific Pokemon you hearken to in terms of, like, oh yeah, that's... You just saw a black cat, oh, you got bad luck now. Just things like that. And I appreciate they actually try to do, like, their own versions of that, rather than just trying to copy and paste real-world ones as well. It gives the Pokemon series its own identity, which I appreciate. You know, again, the more I talk about it, you can go up an S tier, Togekiss. I like you. Oh, hell yes! Get up in S tier. Fucking love Yanmega. I wish it had a third evolution that made it a full-on just dragonfly. I know we got Flygon, but like the reverse which of the two are more important in its design. Just making it, but either way, like I just really, really love Yanmega. Well, okay, maybe this is a little high. It is just a dragonfly. See, here, I love dragonflies, as you may have been able to tell from the immediate reaction. Oh my god, that's such a good shiny. I always try to use one of these whenever I get the chance. But it is kinda just a dragonfly. Just yet another bug flying. It is cool that it evolves from knowing ancient power. I do appreciate that. Prehistoric dragonfly? That doesn't mean as much when all of the Pokemon are big enough to be referred to as prehistoric. Yeah, he has to use ancient power to evolve. That is true. You know, as much as I love dragonflies, I might put you down here. With the caveat that I absolutely love you, but I think as a design, I'd want more. There. Yes, I feel good about that. It's still in the higher tiers, but... maybe someday we'll get a third evolution that just blows us all away. I'd love that. One of my most requested evolutions to happen. I'd love to see this just evolution style taken a step further. Leafeon! On some levels, I absolutely adore Leafeon. Like, the way that its ears completely just naturally extend into leaves, its hair does the same thing, the tail does the same thing. 10 out of 10. Love it so much. At the same time... The leaves coming out of the legs and chest feel just a little haphazard. Like, you had something really good going here, but then these kind of just feel like, okay, we're just gonna slap one there, and one there, and one there. Got more. Oh, I absolutely disagree with that, Jumping Fool. You could absolutely go in more directions with Yanmega. Just add a little bit more of the dragon side of it. Or more of the prehistoric side. You can make it a pterodactyl dragonfly. There's directions to go. That's like... You just gotta add another theme to it. Like how Annihilate is a Infernape... Not Infernape. That's Infernape. Oh god, an Annihilate version of Infernape would look so sick, but... From Primeape to Annihilate, just kind of add an extra little layer to it. Oh, especially when you see it with a 3D model. Like, that just awkwardly sticks out. As I've said multiple times, I don't mean like Flygon, just reverse the priorities of what the dragonfly and what the dragon is influencing the design. Now, I gotta disagree with you on this one, Jumping Fool. I'm sorry. You can absolutely do more with Yanmega. I think it's more good than bad. It just looks... There's just a handful of oddities that just don't quite land for me. Still a good grass-type Pokemon, though. And you're right up at the top near here. I like this little shit-eating grin more. But I think somewhere like there. It's still good. It's still good. Glaceon. Not as good. This is kind of just ice with, like, various, like, okay, they're kind of ice crystals. Sure. Like, it's still good. But it doesn't feel as strong. This is kind of in the... Where did I put Espeon and Umbreon? It's kind of... I think it's... Well... Hold on, I need to double check where I put the rest of the EVs. Just to get, like, a sense of... Definitely agree that Vaporeon's still the best one. Yeah, I think it kind of falls into that same Flareon, Jolteon category for me. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not even just fine, it's good. It's good. But it doesn't quite wow me as much as some of the other ones do. Yeah, about right there, about right there. Another much, much needed evolution. And we actually got a decent... Sorry, that came out of nowhere. We got a little decent, like, little vampire bat kind of deal going on here. Gliscor's fun. Like, Gligar doesn't do much to me. Where did I put Gligar? I can't even remember which one it was introduced in. I get a lot of Gen 2 and 3 inspirations mixed up. Like, I think... Yeah, okay, there you are. Gligar's fun. But that's really all I can say about it. And this is also, like... Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's the vampire bat. It's got this really cool scorpion motifs as well. I love its facial expressions. Also, it's so tall. Like, you wouldn't expect that looking at... Oh, it's probably just for, like, from tail to head. But still, it's a really, really, really good, like, imp-styled... Like, this is absolutely the minion of the Necromancer that you meet before dealing with the final boss. Love this dude. Just look at this. He's so fun. Somewhere like here-ish, like here. Yeah. I appreciate that Mamoswine exists. It still doesn't do much for me. Like, Swine Mammoth is neat. But it's so spherical. But here's the thing, I don't know how I'd make that any better. Like, it just gives me odd vibes. I don't know how else to explain that. I wish I could articulate this better. Where did I put the other two? You were an Everstone, you're an HM Slave. I think this is kind of just... Like, I get what you're going for, but you're just not... You're just not landing for me. Right there. About right there. Yeah. Porygon Z disappoints me so much. I love the jump from Porygon to Porygon 2. I think you could have so much fun just continuing to evolve this completely cyber Pokemon in various ways based on the evolution of technology. How'd they handle Porygon Z? He gets a little... He gets crazy eyes. And it does nothing for me. This one actually, I'm gonna put this one in frustration. For how fun Porygon 2 is, Porygon Z is just completely falls flat. Isn't it kind of funny that the final evolution of Porygon is suffering from an epilepsy? You know what? Fair point. Fair point. That is very funny. He's glitchy? I mean, I feel like you're gonna go that version. I'd go with Gigawatts' idea of having a split evolution. Yes, it resembles a deformed version of Porygon 2, also using the two-pieces disc and displays unpredictable behavior. Maybe it's a computer virus or... See, even then, though, I feel like you'd have so much more fun with that idea. This would have been a perfect time to try to implement a bit of Missing No in an official capacity. Like, with that context, I see what it's going for. But in terms of the concept it's going for, I feel like you could do so much more. I will give it points for that, though. Like, that is still a fun idea. Be nice to Glammeow. This is the idea. section. The idea of it being open for interpretation, I think that's fair, but I don't think that is a stance that really gives it a ground to stand on. If it has to be up to interpretation, that delves into headcanons rather than what it's actually trying to go for. Gallade. Kind of the same vibes of Gardevoir, but just kind of worse, honestly. Like, I feel like Gardevoir still does a great job of giving you this, like, really ethereal kind of vibe to it. Like, it still feels like this super powerful psychic Pokemon. It just has odd blemishes on it. Like, this weird red thing sticking through it, and I wish it didn't have legs. Gallade commits more to what I find weird about Gardevoir and doesn't feel nearly as, like, unknowable. Yeah, I'm not... I think... You know what? No, Gallade frustrates me. I think Gallade could do a lot better. Yeah. Probopass. As we established when we covered Nosepass, the idea behind a literal nose compass that always points north is really, really funny. But... Gosh, that... At the same time, I think the nose mustache looks so weird, but I understand it. It's a magnetic pole. This is just metal shavings. It's just in the style of a nose, of a mustache. It looks so stupid, but... You know, I think this is one of those, okay, it's stupid, but, like, it really works for what it's trying to be. I kind of love that. Where did I put Nosepass? I'm misremembering which generation it was again. I think. I put it high. Was it Generation 2? Am I just not seeing it? Oh, there you are. What the hell are you doing down there? That idea is so fun. Get up to the A tier. But like Probopass... Nah, I think this is... It looks weird, but god is it fun. Am I actually going to put Probopass in S tier? You know what? I think I am. I think the ideas behind all of this, like, it's so bizarre, but it's so much fun. Like, that is a perfect combination of wacky, weird ideas all coming together in a single spot. Dusknoir is perfect. What do you want from me? The antenna on its head captures radio waves from the world of spirits that command it to take people there. Travels to worlds unknown. Some even believe it takes lost spirits along with it. It's just get up there. You're so cool, Dusknoir. Phenomenal ghost Pokemon. Love Dusknoir so much. Oh. Oh, there we go, there we go. And then Frostlass, an interesting one, but I really like this one too. Just this bizarre, like, okay, so the village girl wandered off into the ice and was never seen again. And every once in a while, people still see her wandering the wastes. Like, it's so... perfect blend of, like, kind of creepy, but also very, very regal. I was pretty sure it had some fun myths behind it. Yeah. Also love how it's like these ear flaps are actually its arms. It really adds to like how eerie it is. Frostless is what Jinx should have been. Yes! Oh my gosh, that's perfect. Absolutely agree. But like, yeah, it's just another easy S tier. Yeah, I will agree with you on that, Gigawatts. It does feel very stapled on to Snorunt. I feel like this could have easily been its own thing. Hell, you could have had Chimecho evolve into something like this and it would have kind of worked. Well, not really. But regardless, I still think this is fantastic. Rotom. I talked about this a lot with, why is this blinking out? Voltorb. But I like the idea of, like, electric sprites trying to just kind of evolve alongside humanity as they learn to use electricity and are just kind of inhabiting various things that we create. And Rotom is the perfect idealization. Not idealization, what's the word I'm looking for? Representation of that. He's very simple, but like, it's a good boy. What more do you want from me? It's a gimmick that really works given how Pokemon has established how evolution works. Well, kind of how it works. It's a lot of soft rules, but like, yeah, it's a good Pokemon. I like it. Then we get it to the spirits. I need to know if these are based off of specific. Possibly remembered from the Imperial Regalia of Japan, which is also called the Three Sacred Treasures, would be the Yato no Kami, which embodies wisdom and honesty. How much are we talking here? This is gonna really affect how I place these things, because as they stand, they're kinda just forgettable. Like, yeah, we gotta have our Mew kind of thing. Well, actually, let's put 3 of them this time. They kind of feel almost obligatory. Well, I can't even say that, but they're just so similar. I think I like Uxie the most. Well, we're getting to the point where Pokemon kind of starts going overboard with the legendaries and just tries to staple one onto every single little thing. I think these ones... What are the typings on them? Are they all psychic? Of course they're all psychic. There's just too many of them with not enough differences. I think Uxie, again, is the best one. It's a half-decent design. Put it, like, right here, maybe. But these two, like, these... They just don't do much for me. Something like that, yeah. And then the box legendaries. Dialga is definitely the better of the two. But we're starting to get into that area where we're hitting the point where we're starting to get a lot of things just kind of spiking off in all sorts of random directions. Dialga, oh, the Palkia. Okay, yeah, I remember this mythologic thing. It's the whole point of the spear pillar. I just, oh gosh, I forgot that Arceus put in these weird, like, extendo legendaries for them. It does look legendary, I'll give it that. But I think it just doesn't quite get up into S tier for me. There's just a little... This is eventually going to hit a breaking point with me, where it's just going to be like, okay, no, yeah, you just have much stuff sticking out of you. I'm going to take this design seriously. We're not quite there yet, but we're on the cusp. Gen 4 is the tipping point when Gen 5 just goes super ridiculous with their legendaries. Also, what about this design speaks to, like, what is time about this? I don't know. It definitely looks cool. It's just starting to, like, just tip into that point where it's clearly trying to look cool, and it doesn't quite get there to me. And then Palkia sure does exist. Are you based off of anything? Astronomy or type? I do like that its design feels more consistent than Dialga's. Like, there's more of a design flow between all of its various pieces. It does give me more of the vibe of space than Dialga does time, at the very least. Yeah, it got some, like, weird alien armor on it. You know what, I think I still like... Sorry I'm taking a while with this one. They do have that vibe of just being super overpowered. Sort of, yeah, they have that kind of alien galactic energy going for them. Like, they both have the diamond and pearl. I don't like that at all, actually. That feels a little too stapled on for me. Like, that is something that is only in their design because of the names of the game. That is literally it. I feel like it's not at the point, but Pokemon's about to start getting really, really hyper-fixated design-wise on terms of the legendaries around what kind of theme the games have going for it. Like, oh, these are shaped like an X and a Y. This is super on the nose. Oh, this dog has a sword. This dog has a shield. Don't quite get up into S tier, but they're still cool. We haven't hit the point where the over-designs just make them feel like they're trying too hard. Okay, yeah, sorry that took a bit. There. Okay, I feel good about that. Heatran just kind of exists. Like, what even are you? I know so little about this Pokemon. It dwells in volcanic caves, and it crawls on them. It's super hot. That's literally it. He's the least legendary legendary. No, but yeah, just straight up. There's just... If I, like, had organized this elsewhere, you could absolutely believe that this is just a random fire Pokemon you can run into. It does get across the point of, like, okay, this is a super heated salamander kind of deal. For competitive, no one would remember Heatron. That's very true. Yeah. Hey, let me see a sprite for you. He does look melted. I don't know if I'd call that a good thing even, though. Like, it's not melted in an interesting way. It's just kind of blobbed into itself. Yeah. Somewhere like there, maybe? Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Regigigas is neat. I like this just Atlas-based... The one who started them all kind of golem. It's neat. Hands have always weirded me out just a little bit, but that's fine. I like it more than all the other Regis. We'll start there. Like, where did I put the other Regis? Registeel was the highest. Okay. Because this actually has some design stuff going for it. It actually feels like this legendary titan of myth. Whereas the rest of these just kind of feel like... Especially Regice and Regirock. Like, okay, we just slapped a bunch of pieces together and they started moving. This thing, no, this thing's primordial. I appreciate this thing. I forget Regigigas' lore. Give me some Pokedex entries. During Legend States, will toast contents. Yeah, this stuff! That's so cool! It was the creator of the other elemental golems. Until they added more elemental golems and kind of screwed over the lore in that way. It's a fun progenitor type of Pokemon. I think I'd give this one an S tier. The lore around is really fun. Somewhere right there? Yeah, about there. And then, Yeah, so you made the Pokemon Devil, and you fucking nailed it in one. Giratina is so cool. I love all of the lore around it. I love the distortion world. Love how it feels like it fits in the distortion world. The way its body is set up allows for some really cool animations. It's perfect. I love Giratina. Favorite Gen 4 Pokemon, easy. I can't say anything else apart from that. Like, it's just perfect. Nobody's going to argue this. Giratina is just amazing. Cresselia? My biggest connection to Cresselia is when 7 hours into trying to record a stage tier list for Smash Brothers, for Design Dorks, Peter just, like, sleepily said, like, I don't like Cresselia, she's a bitch, and that's literally the only emotional attachment I have to the Pokemon. Like, it has lunar stuff to it, like, you got that. There's too many legendaries in this generation, and really all the generations moving forward. You're just trying to have too many important Pokemon, and I don't feel like it works. Yeah, it's just, you're just kind of nothing, Cresselia. Sorry, you can go down with the other two sprites. And then Fionn... It's just, like... There's too many legendaries! Stop! Especially to have this line in the same line where you already have 3 separate sprites. Like, these two just don't do much for me. At all. Especially treating them as evolutions. Like, look how much changes between the evolutions. There's barely anything there. Oh, sorry, it's a mythical, because they're so different. Why do exists, indeed. Why indeed? Like, you're at least cute, but like, I didn't even... I'm sorry, I just don't care. Something like that? Sure. They are separate Pokemon? Are you sure? Well. It's fine. Because now we got Darkrai, and Darkrai is actually pretty cool. It's very, geometric design that I haven't quite... What the f... Since when? Since when? Oh God. Oh, that's terrifying. It does give it this like weird scarecrow fiddlesticks vibe. Yeah, it's the nightmare Pokemon. Creates nightmares. I like it a lot more as a sprite than I do a 3D model. This is a Pokemon that going 3D really didn't help it, because it can't fluctuate as much. I also feel like this is a Pokemon that can really do with a ghastly-like aura. Like, if it was, like, partially obscured and you only see bits and pieces through the... like, some sort of smoky shadow, and then when it, like, attacks, you can see it fully as it, like, eyes light up or something like that. That'd be neat. I don't like it as much as some of the other legendaries. But, like, I still think it's good. Like it as an adaptation of the Boogeyman? Yeah, I can see that. I don't think it's as strong of an adaptation, though. Put you next to Luxray. Another, like, yeah, you got some cool stuff going on with you. Shaman. I like base Shaman a lot. It's so cute. Just this little hedgehog, but the quills are replaced by just some sort of plant growth out of it. Like, that's really nice. I appreciate that a lot. I don't know what the hell the sky form is supposed to be. Like, is there a reason for it? The sky form isn't even... It's not even covered in the Pokedex entries. God, what is this? Now just keep the hedgehog. The hedgehog's adorable. I love the hedgehog. I'll even put the hedgehog in S tier. I think this is a perfect, adorable little Pokemon. This thing, though, I could do without this thing. Just, no thank you. And then we have God. Just straight up. And you know what? To give Pokemon credit, I think they did a pretty decent job, like, actually communicating, like, okay, what would the creator of this entire setting look like? Like, it gets off the vibes of this deific creature. Does it have any fun? Well, yeah. Oh, it appears to be particularly based on a creator deity. Thank you, Bulbapedia. Yeah, it's got little bits and pieces in there. I remember watching an animation. It was one of the terminal montage things. Is that thing where all the hands reach out of it an actual, like, part of its design? When it's animated, does that happen? Because if so, that's really neat. Not God, the Avatar. Oh, okay, okay. I think it's better than these two, at least. I think Arceus' simplicity, well, comparable simplicity, works a lot better for it. You know what? Actually, this helps me articulate what I don't like about these ones. I feel like if you truly possess raw power, you don't have to showcase it that much. I feel like these two are trying just a little too hard, but Arceus, like, actually lands what it's trying to communicate this creature is. And I think it's really good. I don't quite like it as much as Regigigas. I think this is probably my favorite legendary of the bunch. Is I think oh no, Giratina, duh. I do wish there were a few more, what's the word I'm looking for? Parallels between Arceus and Giratina? Just clear inverses in some way, but even then, that's a small little nitpick. I still think it's a fantastic Pokemon. Yeah. I think this is good. I think this is good. It's kind of the point, maybe? I don't know if I'm going to give Pokemon designers that much credit. But sure, we can go with that as a headcanon. And, oh, hey, we're just at the end. That kind of snuck up on me. Yeah, there we go. I think this might be the most... Well, actually, no, I don't think it's the most top-heavy. Well... Gen 1 has a lot more, like, in the middle. Whereas this is much more focused in the top echelons. Yeah, you know what? I might... You can start seeing a lot of problems that will just fester into just the downfall of what I consider to be the good elements of Pokemon designs, but I think this might be the peak gen for me. I think this is when, like, every single aspect of Pokemon designs were just firing on all cylinders. Like, it's got the best starters, it's got some really good legendaries, starting to get a little over-designed, but they're still fine. Also has way too many legendaries, but like, they're still fine. Have a lot of cool additions to previous Pokemon, and so many fantastic mythological references. I love them so much. A bit of too low. Hello, Peter. You got here right at the end. But yeah, I think I'm feeling happy with this. I might move a few things around, but I love so many of the cool ideas this generation had. Got Land Hippo, Land Shark, Super Magnet Drone Creature, all... We got Poseidon Penguin, that's so cool. But yeah. Thank you all for joining me. I think this this might be the end of the golden era for Pokemon designs, because I know for a fact that the next generation is where a lot of my smaller problems start to really creep up and become more prevalent, and it's just going to go downhill from there. But that's when we'll start to really be able to articulate, like, the whole point of this series. We'll be able to figure out, like, what's good, what's bad. I can actually, like, make a video maybe about, like, okay, do more of this one and less of this one. I don't know. It'll be fun. But thank you all for joining me.